Hello everyone, lovely to see you all again and on such a fantastic sunny day, ready for our Easter concert in advance of Easter Sunday. And in Easter, I'm guessing nobody is going to ever forget this one. I'm sure you're spending it at home with various members of your family within our sort of week 3 of isolation, and it's certainly showing lots and lots of strengths and weaknesses and things along the way. I'm sure you're all exploring what actually isolation means for us all. But week 3 for me, here we are with Easter on the horizon and some beautiful weather, fantastic sunshine, lots of things to be smiling and happy about. And so I thought, rather than going from the sort of darkness and despair of Russia and, you know, the sort of the bells of Moscow and the bells of the Kremlin ringing out in Rachmaninoff's composition, and having to flee Russia on a sledge with your family and what you can put in a suitcase over to America, I thought we'd start in America with a fresh start and a certainly completely new look on musical composition. So Gershwin came from Russian parents, and they, like Rachmaninoff, sought to come to emigrate over to America. So already George Gershwin grew up on the streets of New York and Brooklyn and Harlem and all of these fantastic things, and what an era to grow up in. His compositions, the ones which really sort of start to make him famous, come in the 20s, when there's a sort of vibe and there's a buzz and there's this new sound that's come all the way up from the Mississippi River and all it, you know, finding its way on the East Coast, this new sort of vibrant, highly rhythmic sound that basically form the sort of formation of jazz. So the pieces that I'm going to play, I'm going to mostly be playing Gershwin today, but a sort of, I guess, transcriptions and arrangements in some respects. The first piece I want to play by George Gershwin, written in 1930. George Gershwin wrote the music, and Ira Gershwin, his brother, wrote the lyrics. So the song, I guess, that's the original, is The Man I Love. And then I'm going to play I Got Rhythm, and I'm going to fuse them together a little bit in a slightly different way, which is a little bit of my own touches, but it gives you a little bit of a feel for it. That opening theme of The Man I Love that we all know and love. Sort of swanky, slightly swinging, slightly lazier rhythms. It's certainly not Mozart, is it? That sort of swing and that sort of feeling of momentum and that sort of feeling of sort of strolling along, whistling a tune that you have with this, as opposed to I Got Rhythm, which then has got that sort of power and that punch, and really became a foundation for a new type of chord progression. You know, they call it the rhythm changes, and lots of jazz tunes are based upon this. So we'll hear a little bit of that, a little bit of George Gershwin doing what he loves best. Then I thought I'd put something a little bit perhaps apt and also a little bit more thought-provoking in the middle. A fantastic piece by, well, originally by Bach, and lots of my students and lots of our piano students grow up playing Bach and the 48 preludes and fugues. So for everybody that doesn't know what that is, every single note on the piano, if you can see in the top cam up there, Bach wrote a prelude and a fugue for every single different note. So C major, C minor, C sharp minor. So it's a fantastic sort of library of compositions based in all the keys that you can possibly have on the piano. So the first one, the simplest, is the prelude in C major. So everyone's quite familiar with that. And then Gounod, in his wisdom, put the song Ave Maria over the top of that, which is a sort of beautiful segue from the prelude into that. And then I don't know about you, but I've been, you know, in my one amount of daily exercise that we're allowed to do, and let's hope that lasts. You know, as we're sort of strolling around our streets and roads, and we're seeing all these beautiful rainbows, which are so thought-provoking in so many ways. So this piece that I'm going to play in the middle seemed rather apt to play, as it segues in my own transcription, I guess, to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And doing a little bit of research on Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it was written, as you know, for the Wizard of Oz in 1939. And I thought, gosh, fancy that symbol of the rainbow being so apt, as it comes from Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you know, from the beginning of the Second World War, and the beginning of this sort of not unsimilar lockdown that we've got going on at the moment. So it's a very sort of an interesting segue, the Bach, the Gounod, and then into Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So I hope you like that one. That's a little bit of something different. And then to finish off with, I thought we'd play Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, written in 1924 and commissioned by Paul Whitehead. Gershwin actually slightly forgot about the commission and then had to come up with it, and came up with it, my goodness, in 10 days. So his main thing was he was getting a little bit worried about being pegged as a certain type of pianist. He wanted to broaden out into the classical field rather than just being labelled as a jazz player. He wanted to study composition with Ravel and went over to Paris, and Ravel very famously said something along the words and the lines of, "Why would you like to be a second-rate Ravel when you can be a first-rate Gershwin?" Which, but, you know, very wise words, but certainly interesting the way that as musicians we're always intrigued and interested in other styles and wanting to broaden our horizons. So Paul Whitehead commissioned this. Gershwin wrote it in 10 days, and pretty much with this composition put himself on the map as a classical, being able to sort of have a foot in both camps, which is a hard position to do. And I think one of the reasons that this composition just has got such appeal is the opening with that famous clarinet solo. And if you imagine all of the clarinet sonatas and pieces that we've heard prior to this point, we've never heard a clarinet bending a note from one all the way up to quite a few. That slide. You can't mimic it on the piano, unfortunately. It just becomes a slightly sort of normal B flattish scale. But I'll give it a go for you if you can imagine that you've got that clarinet bending at the same time. And then we've got in that middle theme, that central theme that the saxes take over and smooch away so nicely. And then obviously into the sort of fireworks and stuff at the end. Don't have a full orchestra, so this is again a little bit of a mix and match of some of the solo piano writing, some of the arrangements which are written for solo piano, for piano duets. So it's a little bit of an amalgamation put together by me, so something a bit different for you all on this beautiful sunny day. So I guess all in all a concert of transcription, smiles, Gershwin, positivity, hope, and all of those wonderful things, rainbows, and all the things that we're hanging on to at the moment in week 3. So I hope you enjoy it. out with a little bit of a Gershwin treat for you for the Easter holidays. I'll be back next week with something slightly different again. I thought I'd go for a spring theme next week, playing a couple of things from lots of different composers, really expressing their joy and gratitude for all things springing, all things vibrant, and perhaps hopefully enjoying this lovely sunshine. So hope to see you all again soon, and hope you enjoyed today's version of some Gershwin. Thank you very much. Bye bye.